Hi, this is Jill, and today I'm going to teach a sequence that actually prepares you for handstand. And the reason I'm teaching this is because my students have greatly benefited. A few of them have issues like osteoporosis, osteopenia, and they find this to be strengthening and also it builds endurance and mobility, flexibility, and it checks out your coordination, being upside down, just seeing things in a little different way. And I put this here in the practice after the standing poses because I feel like you're warmed up enough now, but you're not worn out. So let's go ahead and have some fun with this and give this a try. We're gonna start with some wrist exercises. So we'll come onto all fours. So just have your hands right under your shoulders and spread your fingers wide. Now, make sure that your butt isn't sticking out and it's not tucked under. So you're in a nice neutral spine here. We're just gonna start by slowly just rocking forward and back. And try to keep your arms straight here and no tension in the neck, right? Just forward and back. Just notice what's going on in those wrists, right? And then after this one, we're gonna go ahead and find some external rotation. So you turn outward, put the hands down. You might feel more of a stretch in this one. I know I do. And this time you're gonna rock back towards your body this way. And just do this a few times and notice what's going on, right? Just be subtle with it. It doesn't have to be a big stretch. And then after this one, we're gonna stay on the knees, come up high, and just reach the arms out, right? So make sure there's no neck tension. You're gonna pull the knuckles back towards you and then straighten the arms. And do this a few times. Pull, and keep trying to pull the knuckles back. Just see how that feels, right? So nice strengthening in the forearms. You might feel that. And then we're gonna go ahead and go under this way and pull away, right? You might feel all of that forearm stuff again, right? From underneath, pull away. And do that a few times. And now we're gonna take the hands down, the back of the hands. This one's hard. So if you find this too hard to do, you can move in a little bit and just do the best you can. If the whole hand isn't down, that's okay. And this one, you can just sort of like circle around, right? You could go either way. Right? Just feeling this out, noticing what it's doing for you. And then after a few of those, the last one we're gonna do is we're gonna turn the hands into internal rotation this way. And from here, just see if you can shrug the shoulders up, shrug the shoulders down. Just notice, is there neck tension? You don't want any of that, right? And just shrug up, shrug down. You could also circle. This is your moment to just kind of open things up. And circle. You might find that these exercises are kind of nice if you sit at the computer a lot, right? It opens things up that might not be open. Some things get overused. And now we'll come to neutral. Come back to all fours. The next one I'm going to teach you is a scapular push-up. So in a scapular push-up, it's almost like a cat-cow, but we're just working with the scapula. So you keep a neutral spine here and just right at that shoulder blades, in other words, right where the shoulder blades are, you're gonna round your back, right? Lift up. And then from here, you're just gonna let the scapula or the shoulder blades come closer together. And we'll just do that a few times. So you lift up, feel that sense of lift, and then you let the scapula come closer together. Let's focus on that lift, and then you relax down, but you're keeping your arms straight the whole time. Now we're gonna take this from a scapular push-up to a pike, which is what you might need what you would need in a handstand. So we're trying to keep the shoulders over the wrists, and we're gonna lift the hips really high. Okay, so scapular push-up, that's what you want. The shoulders are rolling away from your ears. Lift the hips up as high as you can, right? Pull the belly in, and then come down. If that felt good, you could move closer, but if you're fine where you are, just stay there. So here we go, scapular push-up, lift the hips really high, and then come down. We'll do one more. Inhale, scapular push-up, exhale, lift up, way high, and then come down. And then the next one we're gonna do is the Bakasana or crane pose. And it's really not the crane pose per se. It's a drill that will help you to understand correct handstands. So we come to all fours again, come into downward facing dog, and then walk your feet up just to where you can. You can bend your knees. You just get to about this position. And then we bend the elbows. And when you bend the elbows, you can also turn the hands out a little if this is hard on your wrists. The elbows can go out to the side, and you're trying to kind of balance on the elbows. So don't worry about trying to get the knees up into the armpits or anything. We're just rocking. So rocking forward, see if you can tilt your shoulders forward, and then on purpose, push back. And if you don't find a balance there, that's okay. But maybe you do. You rock forward, find something to gaze at, and then push back. And then if you can't get your feet off, that's okay. You could stay here and pretend, not even, you're doing it, right? And then, because you still get the feeling, rock back. And what that does is it gives you the feeling of going forward and then purposefully coming back. The next thing we're gonna do now is walk up the wall. Here we go. And now we're gonna go ahead and walk up the wall. We're gonna take it in phases. So just go ahead and give it a try. We'll start with the hands down, and we're gonna go into, just come into what your downward facing dog is, the distance of your downward facing dog with the feet at the wall, right? And then from here, make sure in your down dog, you're really getting length of the shoulders, right? You're really stretching the shoulders. And then from here, let's go ahead and come to the tippy toes. And already you feel there's more weight, right, in the shoulders. So push with your hands and see if you can prevent the shoulders from coming forward, right, and closing. We want to really open the shoulders. And then from here, if everything's going well, go ahead and what does it feel like to just lift a leg, right? And see if the shoulders again can pull back, right? And if that felt good, maybe you can lift a leg, right? And keep the shoulders pushing towards the wall and lift up. And if you made it here, get your tail under and really push back to the wall, but don't collapse, right? Push, and stay here for maybe 5 breaths, maybe less, and then keep pushing and come down lightly. And if that was hard, you could try it another way. You could come back into your downward facing dog with the heels lifted on the wall, pushing towards the wall. Maybe this is enough, but the other thing you could do is maybe take a couple steps. The main thing is keep pushing towards the wall. So I wouldn't start too low. Start about midway up, right? And then push towards the wall. And maybe you walk up, right? And then push back. Pull the tail under. And then maybe from here you walk down. You take a couple steps and come down to the knees. And if that went well, and you want to go a little further, it's not necessary. And I usually just teach this to people who are just about ready for handstand itself. We could try this last one, and that would be coming to the L. So to prepare for that, we would stand up, turn around, and push into the wall. So from here, really push and get as long as you can and find this nice kind of box shape. And we're going to recreate this with the hands on the floor and the feet at the wall. Make sure your shoulders are elevated, you're pushing just like you were in your handstand here. And then we'll turn around and come into the pose. Some things that might prevent people from doing this one are tight hamstrings, tight or weak shoulders. And so if that's the case, just stick with the one before. But if you feel ready and you can keep your shoulders over your wrists here, it's the same thing. You come to that down dog. Maybe it's a little closer this time. Keep your shoulders over your wrists. Walk up, but don't let the shoulders go forward. Keep pushing down. The tail stays under, the belly in, the shoulders elevated. And then just stay. And slowly coming down. So that last one, or that L shape, might be something to strive for. But if you made it to the incline up the wall, you will have done a great deal. Give it a go.